That news breaking overnight, the passing of Quantum Leap star Dean Stockwell. Ariel Rushev is here with the tributes for the Oscar-nominated actor. Good morning, Ariel.
Good morning to you, George. Stockwell was born in 1936 in North Hollywood. As a young boy, he launched a career as a child actor. That career would span 7 decades and some of the most memorable roles in TV and film.
From child star to counterculture icon, and from Hollywood exile to Emmy-nominated actor, Dean Stockwell's journey was as diverse as the roles he played. Today, we're diving into the mystery surrounding Dean's passing, peeling back the layers of his final days to reveal the truth behind his departure. A star is born.
Did you end up at MGM?
Well, I was doing, the first thing that I ever did was a play on Broadway, and I was seen in it by a talent scout. I believe his name was Al Altman, and subsequently I was put together with another gentleman they were doing a screen test of, and the screen test was seen apparently by the people back on the West Coast, and at that time they were prepping a movie that required a kid. And the two things were put together, and they signed me up.
Dean Stockwell's journey in entertainment began long before he could comprehend the magnitude of his chosen path. Born Robert Dean Stockwell on March 5, 1936, in North Hollywood, he was destined from the spotlight early on. His parents, Harry Stockwell and Betty Veronica, were both in show business, with his father notably providing the voice of Prince Charming in Walt Disney's Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. At age 7, Stockwell made his Broadway debut in the play The Innocent Voyage in 1943. The early exposure to the stage caught the attention of a Hollywood talent scout, marking the beginning of Stockwell's illustrious film career. In 1945, not even 10 years old, he appeared in his first major film roles. He shared the screen with Gregory Peck and Greer Garson in The Valley of Decision, but it was his performance alongside Frank Sinatra and Gene Kelly in Anchor's Aweigh that truly announced his arrival in Hollywood. Stockwell's talent was immediately recognized, earning him a special award at the Golden Globes for his role in Gentleman's Agreement in 1947. Critics praised his performances, with the New York Times describing his work as touching, commendable, and cozy. By the time he turned 16, Stockwell had appeared in 19 films. However, the life of a child star wasn't all glitz and glamour for young Dean. In later interviews, he revealed he took little pleasure in acting during his childhood, viewing it more as an obligation thrust upon him by others. The pressure of being in the spotlight and the lack of a normal childhood had lasting effects. It influenced his complex relationship with the entertainment industry throughout his life. The rebellious years. At 16, he made the bold decision to quit acting. This marked the first of several hiatuses he would take throughout his career. During this period, he dabbled in various odd jobs, trying to find his place in the world outside of acting. But he soon realized his unconventional upbringing had left him ill-prepared for many conventional careers. After a few years of exploration and self-discovery, Stockwell reluctantly returned to acting in 1956 at age 20. The Comeback Kid.
You've got to be fair, Mama. It may have been all his fault in the beginning, but you know that later on, even if he'd wanted to, we couldn't have had people here.
Don't. I can't bear having you
Don't
remind
take it
me.
that way, please, Mama. I'm trying to help. Because it's bad for you to forget. The right way is to remember, then you'll always be on your guard.
Stockwell's return to acting in his early 20s marked the beginning of a new chapter. No longer the cute child star, he now had to prove himself as a serious adult actor. One of the most significant roles of his during this time came in 1962 when he starred alongside Jason Robards, Katharine Hepburn, and Ralph Richardson in the film adaptation of Eugene O'Neill's Long Day's Journey into Night. His portrayal of Edmund Tyrone earned him critical acclaim, and he shared an acting award at the Cannes Film Festival with Robards and Richardson. Other notable roles during this period included his performance in Compulsion, a fictionalized account of the Leopold and Loeb murder case, and his leading role in Sons and Lovers, based on the D.H. Lawrence novel. The Counterculture years.
I became a beatnik
and a hippie.
Were you into drugs then?
Well, I smoked some pot and tried, yeah, you know, misbehaved. But, I mean, it wasn't anything that damaged my health, and I had a pretty damn good time, to tell you the truth.
Despite his success, he once again found himself disillusioned with the entertainment industry in the late 60s. This time, he found solace in the burgeoning counterculture movement. He immersed himself in the hippie ethos, seeking personal fulfillment outside of his acting career. In a 1988 interview with the New York Times, Stockwell reflected on this period, saying, quote, "My career was doing well, but I wasn't getting anything out of it personally. What I was looking for, I was finding in another place, which was in that revolution. The 60s allowed me to live my childhood as an adult. That kind of freedom, imagination, and creativity that arose all around was like a childhood to me." The struggle.
Were you treated unfairly? You hear stories about child actors now. Supposedly there are protections that take care of it, but
no, that I wouldn't. I don't have a big beef about that. No.
you performed with Gene Kelly in Anchors Aweigh. You were also in a film with Errol Flynn.
Yeah.
Who else?
Gregory Peck, twice. If we're looking for the leading men guys, Randolph Scott comes to mind. Pat O'Brien. Memory's going to fail me now.
After a few years away from Hollywood, he attempted to return to acting, only to find that the industry had largely forgotten him. For nearly a dozen years, he struggled to land significant roles. It was particularly frustrating for Stockwell, who even heard about a casting meeting where a producer said, quote, "We need a Dean Stockwell type," while Stockwell himself couldn't get an audition. The challenges of the period took their toll on Stockwell. In the early 80s, he made the decision to quit acting for the third time, moving to New Mexico to sell real estate. The Renaissance.
Our next movie is named Blue Velvet, and already this movie has caused a firestorm around the country, with some advanced reviews calling it a masterpiece and others calling it sick and depraved, and still others calling it a sick, depraved masterpiece.
His fortunes began to change in the mid-80s, marking the beginning of a career renaissance. His comeback started with a role in Wim Wenders' critically acclaimed film Paris, Texas in 1984. This was quickly followed by his appearance in David Lynch's science fiction epic Dune the same year. But it was his collaboration with Lynch in the 1986 film Blue Velvet that truly reignited his career. His portrayal of the enigmatic and menacing Ben showcased Stockwell's ability to inhabit complex, offbeat characters. In the late 80s, he delivered some of the most memorable performances of his career. In 1988, he starred in Jonathan Demme's Married to the Mob as Tony the Tiger Russo, a role that earned him an Academy Award nomination for Best Supporting Actor. He also appeared in films like Tucker, The Man in His Dream, and The Player. Quantum Leap.
The fans even went so far one time on my birthday to see to it that I got a star on Hollywood Boulevard. They were responsible they paid for half of that. They raised the money and paid, because there's a certain amount, a couple $1,000s for each of those stars. For some reason, someone has to pay, and they did it. And that was, I mean, I can't tell you how that made me feel. It's a great honor, and I'll always love them. And they're still out there. And hello, there's one right there.
While Stockwell's film career was flourishing, it was his role in television that would bring him his widest recognition. In 1989, he was cast as Admiral Al Calavici in the sci-fi series Quantum Leap opposite Scott Bakula. The show, which ran for 5 seasons, followed the adventures of Sam Beckett, a scientist who leaps through time, temporarily taking the place of other people to, quote, put right what once went wrong. Stockwell's portrayal of Al, Sam's cigar-smoking, wisecracking holographic guide, became one of the most beloved aspects of the show. His chemistry with Bakula and ability to balance comedy with dramatic moments made Al a fan favorite. Stockwell's performance earned him 4 Emmy Award nominations for Best Supporting Actor in a Drama Series and a Golden Globe win in 1990. The later years.
Are you the character like 24 hours a day? Like, I guess Sean Penn is like that. If he's playing a role, he becomes the character for like the next 6 months, you've got Billy, the convict, on your hands, you know?
Yeah.
Do you act that way?
No, I don't normally. I did once. I did in a recent film that's been out, Married to the Mob.
Right.
I did. Because I loved it so much. It was a comedy.
Yeah.
And it's the first time I've gotten to do a comedy in a long time, and the guy was colorful and sexy as a mafia dog.
So you just became him?
I became him for 24 hours, drove my wife nuts, and everyone said, you know, what's going on with you, Dean? I said, I'm just having a good time.
Following the end of Quantum Leap in '93, he continued to work steadily in film and television. He appeared in a wide range of projects, from big-budget films like Air Force One to indie productions and TV movies. One of his most notable later roles came in the reimagined Battlestar Galactica series, where he played the enigmatic John Cavill. Throughout the 2000s, he continued making guest appearances on popular TV shows like JAG, NCIS, and The Tony Danza Show. The final act. As he entered his late 70s, he began to slow down. His last major role was in the 2014 film Entertainment, after which he largely retired. This decision was partly influenced by a stroke in 2015. In later years, he focused on his passion for visual art, particularly creating collages. He exhibited his artwork in galleries across the U.S., showcasing a different side of his creative abilities to fans and art enthusiasts alike. The truth revealed. On November 7, 2021, news broke that Dean Stockwell had passed away at age 85. Initial reports stated he died of natural causes at his home. However, as more information has come to light, we now have a clearer picture. His passing was indeed due to natural causes, but specifically it was the result of heart failure. That revelation, while sad, is not entirely surprising given his age and previous health issues. Heart disease is one of the leading causes of death for older adults. It's important to note that his death was peaceful. He passed away in Whangarei, New Zealand, where his daughter lived. This detail adds a touching element to his passing, suggesting that he was surrounded by family in his final moments. Now it's time to hear from you. What's your favorite memory of Dean Stockwell? Let us know in the comments section below.